Welcome back to Catterall's Corner here on Sporf. I'm Adam Catterall. It is a pleasure, as always, to be in your company. I am here to preview UFC 265, coming at you from the Toyota Center in Houston. As well as that, got a little bit of an extra treat for you, because if you've always wanted to learn about the nuances of mixed martial arts, I've got a lesson coming up your way a little later on, courtesy of Dan Hardy and UFC fighter Veronica. But before we get to that, let's get previewing this epic show. Right, the main event at UFC 265. Let's just park all this crazy narrative to one side before I talk about the actual fight. Yes, it's an interim title fight. Yes, it's not needed. We have a world champion in the heavyweight division. His name is Francis Ngannou, and he's blooming brilliant. We want to see him fight in world title fights. There is no need to have any other belts connected to this division. And if you are going to connect other belts to this division, maybe Stipe Miocic should be connected to that fight. The legend that is Stipe Miocic, the man with the most amount of wins in the heavyweight division, the most amount of title defenses as a UFC champion, the man that has just been beaten against Francis Ngannou. But it seems like the UFC have put him on the pile. They have brought forward a legend from France, a man that has absolutely made a tremendous run in professional mixed martial arts over the last 3 years, because that's only how long he's been in the sport. Ciryl Gane is getting his opportunity against Derrick Lewis. I feel a little bit for Derrick Lewis as well with this whole narrative, because he was supposed to be fighting Francis Ngannou for the full title. Now, obviously, he's got to go through this fight, collect the interim belt before he moves on to fighting the big man from Africa. Anyway, that's all the narrative to the side for one moment. Let's talk about the fight, because the fight is absolutely brilliant. Two big heavyweights. What's not to love about this for the main event at UFC 265? Ciryl Gane, as I said, he's only been a professional for 3 years. His rise has been sensational. He hasn't even had double figures yet when it comes to professional fights, but he has been punch perfect. He's taken out some big names already in the UFC, and now he gets his opportunity against Derrick Lewis. You know what Derrick Lewis wants to do. He wants to bomb him out with his right hand. That's exactly what he does every single time he steps inside the octagon. Ciryl Gane is a wily character though. He knows how to stay out of the way. If you look at how many shots are actually landed on Ciryl Gane in the fights that he's had so far in the UFC, they are minimal. His defense is sensational. His mastering of range is really, really good. And he's a rounded mixed martial artist. He can do the lot. Yeah, the strikes and the kicks and all that type of stuff are there, but his grappling's pretty solid as well. As is Derrick Lewis. He knows what he's doing away from just landing the big bombs, but everything comes back to the big bombs. That's what he is trying to do. So, the question in this fight is, can Ciryl Gane stay out the way long enough, get into range quick enough and out quick enough in order to do his work and get the job done against Derrick Lewis? And who knows? He might even knock him out himself. These are heavyweights. It only takes one on the whiskers. It's a fascinating stylistic matchup. You've got power against precision. I can't pick a winner. It's that close to call. Now then, the potential fight of the night is Jose Aldo against Pedro Munoz. We've got the co-main event, we've got the main event, and yes, they're nice because they've got shiny belts on the line, but let's be straight. This is the People's Champions fight. Everybody who knows these two guys knows that they are going to provide fireworks at UFC 265. First of all, Jose Aldo, a man that dominated the featherweight division for such a long, long period of time until he ran into that left-hander Conor McGregor. Don't judge him based purely on that, because this guy is absolutely outstanding. And since he's moved divisions to the bantamweight division, he's been brilliant. He's looked really, really good. And this fight means that if he can come through it, he's in serious contention for fighting for another UFC world title. Same applies for Pedro Munoz. His aspirations of picking up UFC gold at some point in his career kind of rely on this fight. If you can beat a legend like Jose Aldo, you are in the conversation. Matchup-wise, this is the thing that is the most attractive for all fight fans. They're going to stand up. This ain't going on the mats. Nobody's going to be cuddling each other in this fight. They are throwing hands. You've got a sensational Muay Thai fighter in the shape of Jose Aldo, and you've got a guy who's boxing heavy in the shape of Pedro Munoz. Those styles are going to gel absolutely beautifully. Munoz has probably got more power in his hands, but watch out for them kicks from Jose Aldo. They are absolutely brutal, and I expect him to be very kick-heavy in this fight because he's got to take away the base of Pedro Munoz to nullify that power and then have his wicked way with him. It is going to be back and forth. It's going to be like watching two wasps flying around a pint of beer on a hot summer's day. It is absolutely beautiful, one that you should not be missing. And my tip is that there will be some type of bonus connected to this, whether it comes from the finish or the fight of the night. Dana White is going to be signing a check for one of these boys. Make sure you check it out. Now, at UFC 265, as you look down that card, there's a lot of fights with very interesting stylistic matchups. You've got grapplers taking on strikers, and therefore those types of styles can nullify each other. And for the untrained eye, it can be quite a strenuous look. So I think it's only fair that with a little bit of education, we can all help each other here and know what to look out for when it comes to fight night. Who better than to teach us all the finer arts of mixed martial arts and give us a proper introduction to the sport itself than former UFC world title challenger Dan Hardy, one of the best analysts in the game, and UFC fighter Veronica. They recently did this for Sporf for you. Check it out.
Have you ever seen anyone punch like that before?
That's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Good God, where have you been? Welcome back to Sporf. My name is Will Brazier. I've been put through my paces by two people, let's just say, who know what they're talking about. Dan Hardy, Veronica. Look at the state of me. Let's get in there.
So what I want you to do is now, I want you to find a bit of space and I want you to just feel that stance. Nice and light on your toes. And we're rocking from one foot to the next, we're shifting our weight, and then we counter left. As it starts to come out, I'm going to imagine there's a piece of elastic between my hand and my back foot, and it's going to pull my back foot forward, which then gives me another power shot. Bang, bang, there you go, that's it.
There you go, that's it. You want to try with the kick now? Step. That's it.
Get your body off the center.
That's it.
Let's go down to the bags. It'll make more sense if you're actually hitting something. It's good, man, that's good. I'm gonna change one thing, and I'll find this with a lot of tall people. As they step, they pull themselves away from the bag.
Right. Well, like my top up?
Yeah, yeah. Move over to the side. Little step. That's it, that's better.
How'd you do that?
I'm gonna have to step to hit and then come back, okay? My back foot's not moving, okay? In your stance, we can do that little rock side to side that we drilled at the start, but then when I punch, I'm not just gonna extend my hand, I'm gonna step and touch it. Start there, right?
Yeah.
What we're gonna do is we're gonna step this back foot up, and we're gonna punch with that. Punch. Step that back foot up, punch. There we go. So what you'll notice with a lot of punching and kicking techniques is it'll go one side then the other, one side then the other. You know what I mean? And it'll alternate because you'll utilize that rocking momentum. So that's what we're gonna do here. We're gonna step, we're gonna punch, and then we're gonna turn.
Bam! And then a hook. You open it.
Oh, that's what you're talking about, the rotation.
Yeah.
So, bam.
Try to do it without a bounce in between punches.
Right.
Fluid. 1, 2, 3. That's it. Right? That's it. There you go.
How long have you been doing it for?
17 years.
Have you ever seen anyone punch like that before?
That's pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I've seen worse.
Good God, where have you been?
Remember the kick that we did right at the start where I was stepping out with my foot? 1, 2, 3, step with a kick. You want to be kicking really with the shin, like your foot will kind of wrap around it.
Right.
But I'm hitting there. That's what I'm landing. There's a nerve that's so close to the center, to the surface.
You're like very small and very particular.
Yeah, it's literally right there. That's better.
I always feel like I'm reaching on my, that one always feels like.
That's because you're not stepping that back foot up. Nice.
Right, I finished my MMA masterclass. I've had an absolutely fantastic day. I've learned a lot, I've sweated a lot. I won't be needing these again. Cheers.
Good lad, Will. That's what it's all about. Starting off at the basis, who knows, in 3 years' time, you could be like Cyril Gann and fighting in the main event at one of these big UFC shows. He's only been a pro 3 years, so there's hope for you yet, mate. You might have to do a little bit of work on that ground game, though. Anyway, thank you very much for watching Catterall's Corner. UFC 265 has loads of fantastic narratives. That main event is a cracker stylistically. Ignore the interim trinket that is attached to it. Forget that. The fight itself is a belter between Derek Lewis and Cyril Gane, and I'm sure you're going to enjoy it. And then, of course, my tip for fight of the night, you've got the legend Jose Aldo taking on Pedro Munoz. Strikers paradise. You are going to love that fight. I'll be back next week to review the whole show. Make sure you stay up in the early hours of the morning to watch it, and I'll catch you next time on Sporf.